Good afternoon and welcome to this lunchtime kickoff between Aston Villa and Arsenal. A big Premier League tie coming at you by way of the Commentary Hub. My name is Sam Armitage and I'm proud to be bringing you commentary live here from Villa Park. A big game for both sides, especially the visitors Arsenal, without a win in 3 games. And they'll definitely be hoping to get a little bit of form back against the host Aston Villa, who are winless in both games. They have shipped a total of 7 goals. Both sides last game defeat to Manchester City by a 3-1 scoreline. Aston Villa played the current Premier League champions on Sunday, whereas Arsenal had to play them at the Emirates on Wednesday. A quick turnaround for the visitors, but when you're near the top of the league, it never gets any easier. Let's go through a few of the team news for you guys today. Aston Villa, the host, Unai Emery, makes 5 changes from the defeat against Manchester City. In goal, Emi Martinez keeps his place. Matty Cash, Ezri Konsa, Tyrone Mings and Alex Moreno fill out a back 4 that has seen 3 changes being made. Ezri Konsa, the only player keeping his place from that defeat to City. A midfield free of John McGinn, the captain, coming back into the side. Boubacar Kamara and Douglas Luiz. Douglas Luiz scored at the Emirates earlier in the season. And then a front three of Felipe Coutinho, Emi Buendia and Ollie Watkins. Substitutions for Aston Villa. The goalkeeper, Vijami Sinsalo, Leander Dendoncker, Callum Chambers, Ashley Young, Luca Dean, Jacob Ramsey, Bertrand Traore, Leon Bailey, and John Duran. Now, for the visitors, Arsenal, who dropped to second in the league for the first time since the middle of August in game week 2 after losing 3-1 to Manchester City. They have a game in hand on the Citizens. Winning today will put them 3 points clear at the top. They start with Aaron Ramsdale in goal. Ben White is back in the side at right back, replacing Takehiro Tomiyasu. Gabriel and William Saliba have played every single game of the Premier League season so far, and Alexander Zinchenko makes his 16th league appearance of the season. In midfield, Martin Odegaard, the captain, goes with Granit Xhaka and Jorginho, who makes his 2nd Arsenal start today. And then up top, Bukayo Saka, the star man for Arsenal, pairs with Eddie Nketiah, and a debut is given for Leandro Trossard. A first start for Leandro Trossard. The substitutes for Arsenal in goal, Matt Turner, Kieran Tierney, Takehiro Tomiyasu, Rob Holding, Jacob Kiwior, who is still awaiting his debut after being signed from Serie A side Spezia in the January transfer window. Emil Smith-Rowe, who is yet to have a Premier League start with injury plaguing him throughout the season. Fabio Vieira, Reece Nelson, and Gabriel Martinelli, who has been dropped in place of Leandro Trossard. Mikel Arteta choosing to shake things up top after the team have struggled really to score goals. We're on top for many large periods of the game against Manchester City in midweek, but ultimately it was quality up front that prevailed for the away side on Wednesday. And hopefully Mikel Arteta thinking that shaking things up top, bringing in Leandro Trossard could cause Aston Villa a few problems. Unai Emery, the manager for Aston Villa, his first game as Aston Villa boss against his former club, Arsenal. Unai Emery yet to lose a game against Arsenal in four attempts. He's won 1 and drawn 3 times. Obviously, his Villarreal team knocked out Arsenal in the Europa League semi-final 2 years ago that he ultimately went on to win. Arsenal start the weekend second on goal difference, but with a game in hand, as we are ready to get kicked off here in the Premier League. Arsenal ready to kick us off, shooting from right to left towards the north stand. as they play it back, and Ben White will play the ball out to the right here. Arsenal have won their last 3 games against Aston Villa, including a 2-1 victory at the Emirates earlier in the season. They went 1-0 up through Gabriel Jesus, obviously is out through injury today. Douglas Luiz ended up scoring from a corner to equalise, but 3 minutes later, Gabriel Martinelli scored the winner. Neither of the Brazilians feature in the starting 11 for Arsenal. Obviously, Gabriel Jesus out through injury, and Gabriel Martinelli dropped after a bit of poor form in place for Leandro Trossard. Villa's last victory against Arsenal came in February 2021, just over 2 years to the date. Ollie Watkins scored in the 3rd minute at Villa Park to bring a 1-0 victory to Aston Villa, as both sides jostle for possession in the midfield in the early stages. Buendia picks it up, plays it out wide. Coutinho on the ball. Coutinho failed to get a bit of form going as he plays it to Douglas Luiz, whose pot shot goes well wide of the mark. Coutinho has only started 7 games for Aston Villa so far this season. He's yet to register a goal or an assist. Arsenal making a few risks at the back there. Villa pressing them quite well, but Arsenal managed to break away from it, and Jorginho's fouled there. Arsenal take the free kick quickly. Play is spread down to Leandro Trossard. Trossard now on this left-hand side. Driving with it. He plays it back to Zinchenko, and Arsenal will regroup. Gabriel playing alongside William Saliba. Like I said, both players playing in every single Premier League game so far. Mikel Arteta, he knows what works, and this centre-back pairing has contributed to 9 clean sheets so far this season. Arsenal bringing the ball forward there with Granit Xhaka. Had a chance to cross the ball in, but it's blocked, and it'll go out for an Arsenal throw-in. Xhaka will pick the ball up and throw it in back to Gabriel. Here's Xhaka. Xhaka takes it, plays it back to William Saliba. Saliba spreads the play out to the right here to Bukayo Saka. Saka plays it into Odegaard. Odegaard can't really go anywhere there. He ends up trying to give it off to Saka, but it's a good tackle in the end from Boubacar Kamara. Arsenal have a throw-in on this right-hand side. The throw-in's poor, though, and it's headed away by John McGinn. Douglas Luiz on the ball now. It's good football. Buendia's ball, unfortunately for Villa, though, is wayward, but Douglas Luiz manages to latch onto it. Aston Villa now have a bit of positive position, but they end up having to recycle it backwards. Here's Tyrone Mings, plays a square ball to Ezri Konsa. Ezri Konsa, the only defender keeping his place from the 3-1 defeat last weekend. He's started in all but 1 game for Aston Villa this season. So whether it be under Steven Gerrard or Unai Emery, Ezri Konsa has impressed at centre-back. Aston Villa enjoying a little bit of possession here with Tyrone Mings on the ball. Obviously, yesterday he signed a new deal. They'll see him stay at Villa Park for the foreseeable. Wasn't involved in the squad last week as Buendia plays the ball behind Alex Moreno, and Arsenal will get the ball back. Yes, like I was saying, Tyrone Mings didn't feature in the game at the weekend against Manchester City. He's back in the side, straight back in the starting 11. Here's Saka. Spreads the play. Arsenal have a little bit of room now here on this left-hand side. Trossard just crossing the halfway line with the ball. He's got Zinchenko to support, and he uses him. Here's Zinchenko. Oh, it's a good tackle from Matty Cash. And now Aston Villa have a chance to break. Cash plays the ball over. Here's Ollie Watkins. Can't get it down. He's going to have to take it past Saliba if he's going to get a good chance to shoot. He takes it on his left foot. He strikes! And it's Ollie Watkins! Yet again! He was the man on the score sheet when Aston Villa last beat Arsenal. And he scored early yet again. It's his 4th successive goal. And Ollie Watkins, 5 minutes in, puts Aston Villa in dreamland. Arsenal's title challenge is derailing and derailing quickly. And Ollie Watkins has put the horse in front. Matty Cash plays a great crossfield ball, but he still has a lot to do. William Saliba does enough, you got to think. He takes him out wide. It's a bit of a tough angle, but Ollie Watkins still manages to find the bottom left-hand corner there. Nothing Aaron Ramsdale can do about it. It's the finish of a man in form. 4 straight games with a goal now for Ollie Watkins. It's his 7th league goal of the season for the Englishman. And Unai Emery celebrates. Aston Villa are 1-0 up inside 6 minutes. It's exactly what Aston Villa wanted. It's definitely not what Mikel Arteta and his Arsenal side will have hoped. Are Arsenal staring down the barrel of a 2nd successive defeat, a 3rd defeat in 4, and 4 games without a win? Martin Odegaard suffering a bit of discomfort, grabbing hold of the back of his right calf there. We get a little bit of a stoppage in play as Mikel Arteta gets to relay a little bit of instruction towards Ben White. Arsenal are definitely going to be needing to up the intensity, because Aston Villa have come out with a purpose. It's their 9th goal scored in the first 15 minutes of league games this season. And it's a wonderful counter-attack from Emery's side. Once Matty Cash wins the ball off of Zinchenko there, he plays a great crossfield ball, and Ollie Watkins dispatches into the bottom left-hand corner. William Saliba on the ball now, plays it out to Gabriel. Gabriel tries to play a ball through the midfield, but it's intercepted by Douglas Luiz. Ultimately, Arsenal are going to get the ball back. Zinchenko with the throw-in now, just inside his own half. The Polish international Matty Cash, it's his first start in 5 games, and he's got himself an assist inside 5 minutes here against a title challenger in Arsenal. Obviously replacing the very experienced Ashley Young, who takes his place on the bench this weekend. Are there any concerns for Arsenal here, being down inside 10 minutes? Obviously, with still the majority of the game to go, you got to think that Arsenal will be able to assert themselves a little bit, but having been winless in 3 before this afternoon, obviously played Wednesday evening, and have now got to play in this Saturday lunchtime kickoff. Maybe Aston Villa have the advantage. Well, they definitely have it on the scoreboard. We're just closing in on 9 minutes played. It's still 1-0 Aston Villa. Douglas Luiz now plays the ball in. Ollie Watkins can't take the ball down. And here's Leandro Trossard. Tries to play a ball through, but it's well intercepted by Matty Cash. Eddie Nketiah goes down. The referee says nothing doing. Trossard now has the ball on the edge of the area. Plays the ball in. Nketiah takes it down. Arsenal with the ball in the box now. Nketiah is swarmed by a field of claret and blue, and he can't seem to get through. And Aston Villa are going to get a free kick here. The Arsenal players swarm Simon Hooper. Looked like Jorginho may have won the ball there, but ultimately a free kick is given. I think Eddie Nketiah may have been booked by the referee for simulation there. I said he went down. Simon Hooper said nothing doing. Obviously, he had such a good sight on there. Oh, never mind. Nketiah seems to have gotten away with a bit of simulation there. No yellow card for Eddie Nketiah. 10 minutes in now. It's been a perfect first half so far for Unai Emery, but there's still a long way to go. No need to panic for Mikel Arteta's side, you got to think, because they have the ball inside their own half here. The ball's played to Aaron Ramsdale, and he hesitates, and Ollie Watkins almost managing to nick the ball off him there. Playing with fire, Aaron Ramsdale there. We know he doesn't really like to play it safe, does Aaron Ramsdale, and he almost gets punished for it there. But Arsenal come out with the ball, and again it's Trossard on the ball on this left-hand side. A lot of the attack going down Trossard's side. Whips the ball in, but it's easily headed away by Ezri Konsa. Arsenal are going to keep the ball with Alexander Zinchenko here. He looks left, turns, and plays it inside to Jorginho. Plays a good ball over the top there. Ben White's in! He's cleared the ball over! And Eddie Nketiah has managed to head the ball onto the bar. I think the flag is up, so he wouldn't have counted anyway. But I'm not sure if Nketiah actually gets his head on it. As we see Ben White, I think he is offside there. He clips the ball over, and is that Nketiah's head, or is that the boot of Tyrone Mings that flicks the ball onto the bar? It's hard to see. Oh, it's great defending from Mings. He manages to get a boot there and just flick the ball onto the bar. Obviously, he doesn't know that ultimately Ben White is offside. But it's great defending from Tyrone Mings to keep the score at 1-0. Tyrone Mings signing a new deal the other day that'll see him stay at Villa Park for the foreseeable future, repaying that faith shown to him by the Aston Villa board. The free kick is given though for the offside as Emi Martinez plays the ball up. Tyrone Mings plays the ball into Buendia there. Ultimately, Villa can't keep possession though. Arsenal pressing well. Gabriel plays the ball outfield on this left-hand side. Trossard has the ball again with a bit of space here. Matty Cash is going to come down to him, but it's a good ball through. Granit Xhaka, Douglas Luiz tracked him well. Block the cross, and Arsenal have a corner. It was a great ball from Jorginho over to Ben White that ultimately resulted in no goal for Arsenal. But now Leandro Trossard has a chance to whip a corner in. Just shy of 13 minutes played. Can Arsenal muster a way to find an equaliser? Obviously, Gabriel, they play it short. Trossard whips the ball into the back post. Saka heads it down. And it's well dealt with in the end, but only as far as Zinchenko. The ball is whipped in, but it's headed away again. Here's Odegaard. Plays it down to Jorginho. Jorginho only making his second start for Arsenal, but that's a good ball through to Trossard. Unfortunately, the ball leaves a lot to be desired, but he keeps the ball. He plays it across, and again, it's well dealt with. He ends up with the ball again. Onside is Trossard. He plays it back to Jorginho. Jorginho plays a square ball to Odegaard, who plays it back to William Saliba. Odegaard plays it inside. It's a good ball through. Oh, but Nketiah can't control the ball. And it's cleared away to Ollie Watkins. Not much attacking support for Ollie Watkins, but Villa recycle the ball well and play it back to Konsa. Nketiah chases down, but the ball's played out wide to Matty Cash. Leandro Trossard chases the ball down, but his deflection ends up going out, ultimately for a goal kick. 14 minutes in, Arsenal are down 1-0 here at Villa Park via a goal from Ollie Watkins. It's his fourth in 4 games. Obviously, his goal last week against Manchester City ultimately proved to be nothing short of a consolation after Villa found themselves 3-0 down at half-time. Arsenal have the ball here on this right-hand side with a throw-in. The ball's played in, but Bukayo Saka can't take the ball down. Arsenal end up with the ball back, though. Xhaka plays it out to Ben White. Xhaka back to White, but it's well dealt with in the end by Alex Moreno. Arsenal with a throw-in just inside the corner flag here in a dangerous position. Ben White to take it. White taking his time to throw this one in, waiting for the right moment. Not much movement from the Arsenal attackers. Ultimately, the ball's thrown in, aiming towards Jorginho, but it's headed away by Kamara. Here's Gabriel. Plays the ball out to Odegaard. Odegaard tries to feed the ball through to Saka, but it's well dealt with. Jorginho. Here's Ben White. Headed away. Oh, but what a hit that is! It's headed away by Tyrone Mings, but only as far as Bukayo Saka. And he's done it again. It's that man. His 9th goal of the season. Arsenal are level. Bukayo Saka, pick that one out. My goodness me. You say that Aaron Ramsdale couldn't do anything about the goal scored by Ollie Watkins, but Emi Martinez. No keeper saving that one. They overloaded the box. The ball was played out to the right-hand side. Ben White's ball in isn't really cleared well by Tyrone Mings. Bukayo Saka hits it on the volley with his left foot. Bang into the top right-hand corner. Emi Martinez, perplexed, stands still. He can't do anything about it. And that's exactly what Mikel Arteta and his Arsenal side needed. Aston Villa are only ahead for as much as 10 minutes. We're in for a good game. 16 minutes in. Aston Villa won. Arsenal won. That was a special effort there from Bukayo Saka. He's 9th of the season for the young 21-year-old. And now you got to think advantage Arsenal. Mikel Arteta barking orders on the sideline. Arsenal have dominated the ball, really, ever since Aston Villa opened the scoring. You got to think maybe Aston Villa just stepped off a little bit. Whenever Ollie Watkins managed to pick up the ball just inside his own half, he had no options. Arsenal players just swarming him. And ultimately, Arsenal piling on the pressure, and the pressure pays off with a great hit from Bukayo Saka. Talk about Ollie Watkins, who's a man in form. Bukayo Saka is too. Got himself the goal Wednesday against Manchester City. And today, he equalises with an absolute rocket. Here's Saliba now. Plays the ball outside to the right-hand side. Here's Ben White. His attempted ball to Saka is deflected. And it's out for a throw-in. Ben White back in the side. The only game he hasn't started so far this season was that home game against Manchester City on Wednesday. Takahiro Tomiyasu's his replacement ultimately playing a poor back pass that led to Manchester City's opening goal. As Zinchenko's strike from around about 30 yards out is straight down the throat of Martinez. Nothing troubling him there. Aston Villa look to play it out from the back. It's played out to Alex Moreno. But it's good press from Arsenal, who've won the ball back just outside Aston Villa's penalty area. Odegaard tries an audacious ball into the box, but it's well dealt with by Tyrone Mings. Mings here, plays the ball forward. Buendia. Played out wide. Moreno. Moreno plays it inside there to Buendia. He gets it back. But Saka with a good piece of defending there, and Arsenal have the ball back. Here's Saka again. Plays the ball forward, and it's a chance for Eddie Nketiah to chase this one. But ultimately, he can't keep it in. And it'll be an Aston Villa throw around about halfway through their own half. We're almost 20 minutes in, and it's absolutely flown by here. Commentary brought to you by the Commentary Hub. My name is Sam Armitage, bringing you commentary of Aston Villa against Arsenal. We're just about 19 minutes into the game. Both sides getting themselves a goal. Aston Villa taking the lead through Ollie Watkins, his 4th in as many games, inside 6 minutes. Arsenal answering back around about 10 minutes later by that guy, Bukayo Saka, who is just on the floor at the moment after taking a little bit of a rough one to the bottom of his shin from Alex Moreno. All fun and games, though, as Tyrone Mings picks Saka up, and Aston Villa can resume the game with a throw-in here. on this left-hand side. The ball's thrown in. Granit Xhaka is able to win the second ball. And it's well taken down. Here's Trossard. Zinchenko has a little bit of room here on this left-hand side. And he whips the ball, a poor ball in the end. Ultimately going straight over the bar. And Aston Villa will be fine if they have a few more balls like that coming in. Because they've been troubled a little bit with a few balls into the box. Ultimately, it was Ben White's ball in that Tyrone Mings was unable to properly clear away. It fell to Bukayo Saka and he volleys it straight into the roof of the goal with his left foot for his 9th goal of the season. Here he is on the ball now. He goes down, but the referee says nothing doing. Here's Ollie Watkins on this left-hand side for Aston Villa. It's played back to Douglas Luiz. Douglas Luiz ultimately manages to play it back to Ezri Konsa. Here's John McGinn now. First time we've seen him on the ball. John McGinn, the captain for Aston Villa tonight. He's back in the side. It's his first start since a thigh injury that he picked up against Tottenham earlier in the year. Obviously, he missed a few games for that. He's been had a few bench appearances as a Scotsman. This is his first start in 5 games. Buendia's ball to Matty Cash is a little bit too long, and ultimately he'll go out for an Arsenal throw-in on this left-hand side, just inside Aston Villa's half. Xhaka takes the throw-in into Jorginho, but he gives the ball away to McGinn. McGinn plays the ball out wide here. Here's Coutinho. It's good challenge by Odegaard, but Villa's still able to keep possession. Kamara's pass is poor there, and it'll go straight to Saka. Saka plays a square ball to Xhaka. Xhaka to Saliba. Down to Zinchenko on this left-hand side. Zinchenko now with a little bit of room to play. Plays it out to Trossard. Trossard on his first start for Arsenal. Obviously, his last 4 appearances all from the bench. Scored against Brentford this time last week. Ultimately, Brentford were able to peg Arsenal back and draw at the Emirates. Controversy surrounded that game, obviously, with the VAR decision for Brentford's goal. Arsenal will feel hard done by that they're not top of the league at the moment. But at the moment, with this draw, they will go 1 point ahead of Manchester City. Here's the ball spread out from Gabriel to Trossard. Matty Cash does well though, and it'll go out for a throw-in. Zinchenko will take this throw-in. We're just around about halfway through the first half here at Villa Park. Here's Zinchenko. Plays it to Gabriel. Here's Saliba. Back down to Gabriel on this left-hand side. Plays it to Zinchenko. Zinchenko plays the first-time ball into Xhaka, who surveys the situation and then goes back to Zinchenko. Zinchenko again managing to keep the ball. Xhaka goes down. And Arsenal are going to have a free kick in a pretty dangerous position. Not in a shooting situation really though, but just outside the box. On this left-hand side, Xhaka winning the free kick. Arsenal have a chance to put the ball in the box yet again. It's going to be Martin Odegaard standing over this with Gabriel, but I'm not too sure that he's going to be taking it. Yes, he's just walking away here. Arsenal attacking the Holt end here at Villa Park. Shooting from right to left. Odegaard will put the ball in. And Nketiah goes down, but the ball's gone in. The referee gives nothing, and it's well dealt with by Tyrone Mings this time. And it'll go out for an Arsenal throw-in. Zinchenko will leisurely jog over to take this throw-in on this left-hand side. Again, a lot of the attack for Arsenal coming down this left-hand side, but obviously their goal coming from their right winger, Bukayo Saka. The ball goes out for another throw-in. Zinchenko thinks it's his, but the referee thinks otherwise. And Matty Cash instead will be the one to take this throw-in a very defensive position for Aston Villa. Takes a short one to Douglas Luiz. And it's Hoofed up, but only as far as Saliba, who heads the ball down to Zinchenko. Here's Gabriel. Plays the ball back to Aaron Ramsdale. Ramsdale with his right foot plays it down left to Gabriel. Here's Zinchenko. Zinchenko's ball blocked by John McGinn, who will keep possession. Matty Cash. Ezri Konsa now with the ball. Arsenal not pressing as high as they did when they were behind. The ball ultimately goes back to Emi Martinez though. Odegaard chases him down, but Martinez is able to easily play a ball up towards McGinn, but Zinchenko ends up winning the header. Matty Cash's attempted ball down the line blocked by Trossard. He'll throw it straight in to Buendia though. Takes it past Xhaka. Spreads the ball through the centre to Ollie Watkins now. And he goes down off the challenge from Granit Xhaka, and Simon Hooper gives a free kick. It's a good ball through from Emi Buendia. When Ollie Watkins has the ball, he doesn't really have many options around him. Instead, just 3 black Arsenal shirts swarming around him. All he has to do is just run with the ball. It's nice direct football from Aston Villa. And ultimately, Ollie Watkins winning the free kick. You got to think maybe it's a little bit too far out to have a good effort at goal. But obviously, Douglas Luiz is no stranger to scoring from the impossible. He's scored 2 goals from corners against Arsenal this season. One in the EFL Cup and then one in the reverse game at the Emirates earlier in this season. Douglas Luiz's only goals so far this season have come against Arsenal and Tottenham. He'll definitely be wanting to carry on his North London scoring streak here this season. Around about 30-35 yards out for the Brazilian number 6 for Aston Villa. I think you might have a pop here, you know. Aaron Ramsdale sets his wall up. Stood in the centre of the goal. It'll take something to beat him if he is going to have a go. Luiz winds one up. Strikes it, but it's straight into the wall. Ultimately, he'll fall to Coutinho. But it's well dealt with in the end by Arsenal. Here's Nketiah with the ball in this right-hand side. Arsenal do well at getting the ball out, and Saka will have a chance to drive with it. He plays it to Odegaard, though. He has the ball, and he tries to take it past Kamara, but Kamara does well to stop the counter-attack before it can even start. Arsenal have a throw-in just inside their own half on this right-hand side. We're around about 28 minutes played, just over the halfway point of this first half. The score at the moment is Arsenal 1, and the host Aston Villa also on 1. Aston Villa with a throw-in now on this far side, just in front of the dugout. Villa play this ball backwards. Tyrone Mings plays it back to Emi Martinez. Emi Martinez, the former Arsenal man. He's kept 5 clean sheets so far this season. He won't be keeping one today, though, after that absolute rocket from Bukayo Saka breached his goal to equalise. Zinchenko with the ball now here on this left-hand side. He turns in. Plays a square ball to Jorginho. Jorginho spreads the play. And it's ended up going out to Bukayo Saka. Saka now with the ball on this right-hand side, the goal scorer. Takes it in on his left foot. Tries to play ball through to Ben White, but it's dealt with well. Saka ends up winning the ball back, though. And here come Arsenal on this right-hand side again. Ben White tries to play a ball in. Moreno's challenge is set. Boubacar Kamara's challenge is just said to be a clean one. It'll go out for an Arsenal throw-in. Ben White feeling the effects of the challenge, still on the floor here. As we close into around about half an hour played. Both feet ultimately were high there, though. I think both players really giving it to each other. The linesman deciding that the ball ultimately did go out off of Kamara. The throw-in into Saka, who tries to put a ball in. It's deflected, and it'll go out for an Arsenal corner on this right-hand side. Aston Villa caught napping there on the throw-in from Arsenal. Bukayo Saka, it was too easy for him to get around the back there. And ultimately his ball in with his right foot was blocked. And now he'll have the chance to swing a corner in front of the Holt end. A lot of bodies in the box as Bukayo Saka gets ready to put the ball in. Bit of hustle and bustle around the 6-yard box. Ball in. And it's well dealt with by Emi Martinez, who comes out and claims. We know how good Emi Martinez is at catching this ball. And he does well to just battle through the sea of bodies in front of him, both Arsenal and Villa, and claim the ball there without dropping it. And now Aston Villa have a chance to attack here. The ball's played forward, in behind Ben White. Oh, that's a great dummy. It's struck and it's in! It's Philippe Coutinho! And Aston Villa, you got to say, against the run of play, are back in front. It's his first goal of the season. And what build-up play that was from Unai Emery's men. Villa are back ahead and Mikel Arteta looks stunned. And so are the Arsenal fans. Aston Villa once again elated as they have the lead yet again. The ball played down this left-hand side. It's great football. Kamara picks the ball up and plays a wonderful ball in behind Ben White. Moreno makes the run, plays the ball. And it's a great dummy from Buendia that ultimately goes through Jorginho's legs and falls to Coutinho, who says thank you very much. Sends it into the bottom left-hand corner. It's his first start for Aston Villa under Unai Emery, and he's repaid the Spaniard with his first goal of the season. And Mikel Arteta puts his head in his hands. He can't believe that he's sided down yet again. 32 minutes played. Aston Villa 2. Arsenal 1. Well, Arsenal have to go back to the drawing board. Zinchenko with the ball here just inside Villa's half. He plays it back to Saliba. Here's Saka. Here's to Ben White. It's good press from Aston Villa, and Ben White, he can't do anything but go backwards. He ends up playing the ball over to Gabriel, who plays it into Jorginho. Jorginho can't find a man. He ends up playing it to Zinchenko. Zinchenko. Xhaka. His ball is loose though, but Ollie Watkins can't take advantage of it. Here's Odegaard. Out to Saka, whose goal for Arsenal at the moment is proving to be a bit worthless. Plays the ball across, but it's well dealt with by Tyrone Mings, who's managed to get to everything so far today. Jorginho plays it out to Ben White, who manages to keep it in. Couldn't do much more with it, but ultimately the ball has ended up being put out of play by Boubacar Kamara, who's been everywhere so far for Aston Villa today. And what a ball it was to set up Alex Moreno, who played a deft ball across to Philippe Coutinho. It almost just came out of nowhere, Aston Villa there. Because ever since Villa went 1-0 up, it's been all Arsenal. Felipe Coutinho's goal at the moment has Aston Villa back in front. And Unai Emery, in 4 attempts, has never lost against Arsenal. Obviously, his Villarreal side knocked Arsenal out of the Europa League 2 seasons ago. And then when he was manager of PSG, 2 draws in the Champions League against Arsenal. And now he's manager of Aston Villa, and he's still failing to lose against his former side. Gabriel with the ball here just inside his own penalty box. Spreads the play to Saliba. Around about 10 minutes away from the halftime whistle. You got to think the happier of the 2 coaches is definitely going to be Unai Emery. Mikel Arteta's side have it all to do. Here's Saliba. Plays a nice 1-2 with Ben White. Almost caught in possession there, but he manages to keep the ball. Played back. Jorginho. Ball over the top for Bukayo Saka to chase. But Moreno does well. Ultimately, the pressure on Emi Martinez forces him to clear the ball out, and it's going to be an Arsenal corner. A chance yet again for Arsenal to keep the pressure on. Lovely little foot race between Bukayo Saka and Alex Moreno that Moreno only just wins. And Saka now has a chance to put the ball in the box yet again. His last corner went in the 6-yard box and Martinez was able to easily claim. He'll need to be much better if Arsenal are to get another equaliser here in this first half. Attacking the famous Holt End here at Villa Park, Bukayo Saka ready to put the corner in. The ball is poor and it fails to clear the first man. It fails to really even come off of the ground. It's a poor ball. Ultimately, Arsenal are going to have to go again as the ball ends up going to Aaron Ramsdale in goal. He opts to play it short to Saliba, who gives it back to Ramsdale. Plays it out to Ben White. And that's good triangle football as Saliba keeps the ball. Zinchenko now. Drifting in field, as the Ukrainian often likes to do. He plays it into Jorginho. Jorginho sees Saka wide, but instead opts to go to Ben White, who will then play the ball down the line. But it's a poor ball, and Emi Martinez will be happily seeing that one come to him. And Martinez will pick that ball up. And he'll take as much time off of the clock as possible, you got to think here, with his side 2-1 up. If you've only just joined us, it is 36 minutes played. Aston Villa are 2-1 up. Ollie Watkins gave the hosts the lead on around about 6 minutes. They were pegged back 10 minutes later by Bukayo Saka. And then a brilliantly well-worked goal saw Philippe Coutinho score his first of the season to put Aston Villa back up 2-1. Unai Emery making 5 changes to the side that lost 3-1 last weekend against Manchester City. Philippe Coutinho, obviously one of the players coming in for Leon Bailey, and a chance maybe for Villa again, but ultimately it's wasteful and Arsenal have a chance to attack again. That's a great challenge from John McGinn to win the ball back cleanly. And here's Matty Cash, another one of the 5 changes, and the man responsible for setting up Ollie Watkins for the opening goal. He does well to win himself a throw in there. Matty Cash, ready to throw this ball in. Slow movement from Aston Villa as they try and take a little bit of time off the clock. They ultimately recycle the ball back to Tyrone Mings. So the ball has been really all in Aston Villa's half. Villa have only made 3 final third passes compared to Arsenal's 49. And that's really been the story of Arsenal's last few games. A failure really to capitalise on their attacks, and ultimately punished by the few chances that their opposition have. Moreno goes down clutching his left foot. I think it was just maybe stood on by Bukayo Saka there with the challenge. Still going to end up being an Arsenal throw-in though on this far side. Moreno taking his time getting back to his feet, but when he does, Simon Hooper will wave play on as Ben White gears to take this throw-in. Ben White throws it in. It's played back by Odegaard, headed to Jorginho. Again, just a cluster of bodies here on this right-hand side. Arsenal would do well to spread the play, which they do so as Gabriel now has this ball and spreads it to Zinchenko on this left-hand side. He plays the ball out to Trossard, whilst a lot of the Arsenal attack went down Trossard's left-hand side in the first 15 minutes or so. He hasn't seen much of the ball since. The attack breaks down though, and it's a chance for Arsenal to for Aston Villa to counter-attack. Ultimately, breaks down too, and Arsenal yet again have the ball just inside their own half with Gabriel. Gabriel with the ball now plays it to Granit Xhaka. Xhaka plays a nice ball into Eddie Nketiah, who gets the ball. Plays it out to Zinchenko though. He had the ball in the box there for a sec. Zinchenko has a lot of room here to operate. Plays it to Xhaka. Zinchenko. Gabriel. Saliba. Odegaard. Good one-touch football from Arsenal here as they spread out to Saka on this right-hand side. One-on-one against Alex Moreno. He gets round his man. It's a good foot in by Buendia. And that's great defending from the little Argentinian there. Emi Buendia frustrating Bukayo Saka there. Wins the ball off him. Saka wins it back and he wins it back off him again and forces Saka to play the ball out. And it'll be a goal kick in the end for Aston Villa. Emi Martinez will take his time taking this goal kick. He'll push his players up. He'll have a chance to clear this ball up the field. Around about 4 minutes away from half-time. Aston Villa 2-1 up here in this lunchtime kickoff. Commentary brought to you by the Commentary Hub. Emi Martinez clears this one up towards the north stand. Aston Villa are unable to win any of the first or second ball though, as Arsenal will gain possession again on this left-hand side with Gabriel. Gabriel plays it into Jorginho. Trossard has a little bit of room here if Arsenal can exploit it. Ultimately, they're going through the middle here. Jorginho, this time, spreads it out to Trossard. Here's Trossard. Tried to take it round Cash. He's able to play it off to Xhaka. Xhaka plays it into Zinchenko, but his ball's poor. Advantage played by Simon Hooper as Aston Villa have a chance to counter, but the ball is too strong ultimately for Ollie Watkins to chase. Unai Emery just telling his players to calm down a little bit. When they get the ball, they almost panic a little bit, trying to get the ball up the field. Ultimately, the times where they've taken their time and worked on their build-up play, it's proven righteous for them, as seen with their second goal. A wonderful, well-worked goal down the left-hand side, played centre to Felipe Coutinho, who dispatched his first goal of the season. Ball's played out to Bukayo Saka, who has a little bit of room here, but Alex Moreno straight on him. Saka does well to get around him though, plays it into Odegaard. Odegaard swarmed by 3 Aston Villa players, but still manages to keep the ball and recycle it back to Jorginho, who plays a good ball in, but it's a bit too heavy and Bukayo Saka can't get to it. And it's great defending from Aston Villa, you got to say. As soon as any Arsenal player gets the ball on the edge of the area, Unai Emery's men are putting 2-3 men on Arsenal, and ultimately the Arsenal players don't know how to react. (2-1) Aston Villa on 43 minutes. It's been a perfect half, really, for Aston Villa, you got to say. Maybe against the run of play, they find themselves 2-1 up. But I don't think Aston Villa's fans or Unai Emery will care. They've defended well and have been very potent when it comes to their attacking play. Eddie Nketiah, Arsenal's main striker, hasn't really seen much of the ball so far. Obviously, Nketiah stepping in for the injured Gabriel Jesus. This is his 9th consecutive start, but he's only scored 4 goals in that time. And that included a brace against Manchester United. Obviously, many Arsenal fans reckon that Eddie Nketiah obviously may not be built to the standard that many want for Arsenal. Ultimately, he does pitch in with a few goals here and there. He does need to get involved in this game a little bit more, though, if Arsenal are to get an equaliser and then maybe push on for the 3 points, because it's definitely needed. As it stands at the moment, Arsenal losing means that Manchester City will remain top of the league. And this is Arsenal's game in hand before Manchester City play later this weekend. Got to think, if Arsenal drop any more points against mid-table sides like Aston Villa, it just opens the door wide open for Manchester City to capitalise. But Aston Villa, they're proving no slouches. The energy that they're producing so far here at Villa Park, they are matching Arsenal when it comes to energy. And you've got to think, despite not having many attacks, The hosts, well worth to being 2-1 up here. 2 minutes added time as the ball gets spread out to Bukayo Saka, who has a lot of room here on this right-hand side. Plays the ball in, and it's well headed away by Ezri Konsa. Granit Xhaka was arriving in there, but Konsa did well to head away. Only as far as Gabriel, though. He'll pick the ball up. 2 minutes of added time here at the end of the first half. Trossard plays one to Xhaka. His ball's poor, though. And ultimately, Buendia goes down. Sorry, Buendia takes Xhaka down, my bad. As Arsenal will have themselves a free kick. Odegaard plays one into Nketiah. He goes down, but the referee gives nothing. Arsenal remain in possession, though. For Aston Villa, it's really all about just holding firm and making sure they keep the lead going into half-time. Oh, and a little bit of argy-bargy going here. Bukayo Saka involved. So is Emi Buendia. And Saka, well, I mean, he's had a bit of a frustrating first half, you got to think. Alex Moreno's proven a good match for him on that right-hand side. And obviously, Odegaard was down. I think the referee stopped play for a potential head injury, but I think a challenge was made on Bukayo Saka just after the referee called for play to be halted. Ultimately, Saka didn't see much good in that challenge. It was Tyrone Mings' clearance. He might have just left a little bit on Martin Odegaard afterwards. And then as it comes further on, it's Felipe Coutinho who challenges Bukayo Saka, and Saka didn't take kindly to it. Let's just say that. A little bit of a pushing and a shoving matchup between the two. I don't think anything will be given for this one, just a little bit of a scuffle. As Martin Odegaard remains on the floor being treated. We are past the 2 minutes of added time, but obviously Simon Hooper's probably going to add maybe 1 minute, 1.5 minutes on once this happens. A yellow card is going to be produced. To who, though? I think it's Bukayo Saka who's going to be a victim of the referee's notebook. He has been given his 5th yellow card of the season. And Douglas Luiz is also going to be booked as well for his part in the little scuffle there. And Arsenal will have a free kick in a bit of a dangerous position for that foul on Bukayo Saka from Philippe Coutinho there. Maybe a little bit too far out to have a go, but it's a chance to put the ball in the box just before the end of the half. Saka's delivery has been poor from corners, but from this free kick, it's again a bit of a poor ball, too high and easy for Emi Martinez to claim. Martinez will take his time, just running the clock down as we head closer and closer to half-time in this 12:30 kickoff. Villa have been doing really well so far. They lead 2-1 as Martinez is ready to pump this ball up, and that'll probably signal the end of the first half, potentially. Taking his time here is Emi Martinez. He clears the ball up. Simon Hooper doesn't blow the whistle just yet, but he does now as the ball falls to John McGinn. And he blows the whistle and brings an end to a very, very exciting first half here in the Premier League. Aston Villa took the lead inside 6 minutes through Ollie Watkins, his 4th goal in as many games. Arsenal responded 10 minutes later with Bukayo Saka's 9th goal of the season. An absolute rocket into the roof of the goal with his left foot. But ultimately, whilst that was an amazing individual goal, Aston Villa's 2nd goal was a wonderful, wonderful team goal, which culminated in Philippe Coutinho's 1st goal of the season just past the half-an-hour mark. Half-time here at Villa Park is Aston Villa 2, Arsenal 1. You're listening to the Commentary Hub. welcome back to your coverage of Aston Villa against Arsenal, brought to you by the Commentary Hub with myself, Sam Armitage. The hosts, Aston Villa, lead 2-1 at half-time. Mikel Arteta's men staring down the barrel of a third defeat in 4 league games and a 4th league game without a win. The away side need to do something in the second half if they are to keep the pressure on Manchester City before their game later this afternoon against Nottingham Forest. At the moment, Arsenal are still second in the league with this defeat. At the moment, they need to win if they're to. They need to win or draw if they're to go back top temporarily. A goal from Ollie Watkins, his 4th in as many games, put Aston Villa ahead inside around about 6 minutes. Arsenal answered back with an absolute peach from Bukayo Saka around about 10 minutes later, and then 15 minutes after that, just past the half-hour mark, Felipe Coutinho's first goal of the season put Aston Villa back ahead, and that is where we are at the start of the second half. No changes so far in the at halftime. Both managers happy to send out the side that began the game. Obviously, Arsenal have the likes of Gabriel Martinelli and Emile Smith-Rowe on the bench for them today. Obviously, there we know the quality that they possess. As for Aston Villa, Leon Bailey, Jacob Ramsey, and Bertrand Traore as the attacking options on their bench, and a pretty defensive-orientated bench that sees the likes of Ashley Young, Luca Dean, Callum Chambers, and Leander Dendoncker occupy it. Arsenal starting positively just as they played pretty much the whole of the first half. Again, if you've only just joined us, Arsenal really did dominate the possession for the most of the game, just like they did Wednesday night, just like they do most nights. However, it's the lack of attacking quality that they possess so far, which is why they are 2-1 down. Whilst most of the play has been in Aston Villa's half, Emi Martinez, you got to say, hasn't had much to do and couldn't really do anything about that absolutely wonderful strike from Bukayo Saka to equalise at 1-1. Arsenal have the ball here, but it's played too heavy towards Emi Martinez by Alexander Zinchenko. Aston Villa now attacking from right to left as we are seeing it towards the famous Holt End here at Villa Park. Emi Martinez will clear the ball up, and it's one high in the air and falls ultimately. Douglas Luiz now. Played on this right-hand side, but played back to Edric Konsa. He'll spread the play to Tyrone Mings. Mings with the ball now. Ultimately forced back to Emi Martinez upon pressure from Martin Odegaard. Martinez clears the ball forward. It's flicked on by Buendia, but Saliba does well. The ball falls to Xhaka, who plays the ball through to Odegaard. Flag stays down for the moment being. Odegaard plays one out to Bukayo Saka. He's had to stop, and his strike is wayward at best. He puts his head in his hands. He knows that he can do better there. First real chance of the half for Arsenal. Odegaard took advantage of Ezri Konsa's defensive line. He plays it out wide to Bukayo Saka, who cuts in, and he leans back a little bit too much and just shanks that one left of the goal. Goal kick for Aston Villa around about 3 minutes into the second half. Obviously, Arsenal obviously wanting to win with Manchester City playing later today. They face Nottingham Forest at the City Ground. A game that Manchester City pumped. A game that Manchester City won at the Etihad in convincing fashion. However, Nottingham Forest have seemed to be turning a leaf here in this new calendar year and look unbeatable at the City Ground. Obviously, that'll be an interesting game, but Arsenal are going to be wanting to watch that game, knowing that they can end the weekend top of the league if City fail to win. They'll need to score 2 goals in the second half for that to happen, though, at least. Currently, they are 2-1 down as they have a throw in here on this near side with Ben White. The ball's played to Martin Odegaard. Aston Villa currently with 11 people behind the ball, but they've defended so well and with so much energy so far this game. Unai Emery probably just told his players at half-time, do more of the same, because it's working so far. Ball by Saliba is poor, and Martinez has a chance to run a little bit more of the clock down as he has a bit of a time to set up this goal kick. Bukayo Saka walking a little bit gingerly here. That's definitely not what Arsenal fans want to see. Martinez has the ball here. Plays the ball out left to Moreno, but Moreno can't take the ball down. And Arsenal will have a throw in a bit of a dangerous position here. Ben White throws it in field to Jorginho, who flicks the ball onto Odegaard. It's well dealt with by Moreno, but Jorginho wins the ball back. Here's Saka. Ben White cuts one back to Saka. Saka with a bit of room here to put the ball in. Decides to take it on his right. Plays the ball in, and Nketiah arriving, but Konsa heads the ball away and draws a foul. Nketiah a little bit too late to that aerial duel. Konsa heads the ball away, and Nketiah ultimately clashes into him. That's really good defending from the Aston Villa number 4. As I said, Konsa a mainstay in the Aston Villa backline, the only player to keep his place after the 3-1 defeat in last week against Manchester City in the backline. He's started in all but one game, and that was right at the start of the season against Everton. So it shows his importance to the side. And it's been defence that's won out at the moment for Aston Villa as they managed to keep Arsenal at bay. Arsenal with a good ball through by Xhaka to Odegaard. And Saka has a bit of room here on this right-hand side again. Plays the first time ball in. It falls to Odegaard. Odegaard, a little bit of time. Cuts it back. And Xhaka's strike is well blocked. You got to think Odegaard probably should have pulled the trigger when he had a bit more time there. But Arsenal still have a chance to attack. Zinchenko's ball in is deflected and Arsenal have a corner now. Arsenal have started the second half, this first 7 minutes well. They're keeping putting the pressure on, and they'll have a chance to carry that on with a corner here. Trossard plays it short to Odegaard. Odegaard plays it out. Zinchenko puts the ball in. It's going to fall to Saka. And Saka on his weak foot does manage to squeeze through. His strike goes wide, but it was a very weak shot. And you could potentially tell why as he goes to the ground afterwards. And I think he's wanting to be substituted. That is definitely not what Mikel Arteta or anyone of an Arsenal favour wants to see. And yeah, he strikes that one. And as soon as he hits it, he knows that something's wrong. He limps a little bit and he goes straight to the floor. And yeah, it looks like a potential Achilles injury for Bukayo Saka, just from an earlier challenge from Alex Moreno. As Bukayo Saka gets a little bit of treatment. We are 53 minutes into this lunchtime kickoff. Aston Villa currently lead second placed Arsenal 2-1. Commentary brought to you by the Commentary Hub. Ollie Watkins put Aston Villa into a perfect start around about 6 minutes in with a wonderful finish on his left foot, his 4th in as many games. Bukayo Saka, the man currently receiving treatment down to our right, is the one who equalised for Arsenal with an absolutely beautiful finish into the roof of the net. And then Philippe Coutinho's first goal of the season brought Aston Villa back in front. Gabriel Martinelli at the moment potentially might be getting ready to replace Bukayo Saka here. We all know Saka likes to carry on though. He likes to play the games. This is his 23rd league appearance. Obviously, this is Arsenal's 23rd league game. So Bukayo Saka, one of 5 Arsenal players who have played and who have started in every single Premier League game. The other 4 being Aaron Ramsdale, William Saliba, Gabriel, and Granit Xhaka. Well, Saka's still walking at the moment. He's received treatment. He's stood on the sideline, just putting his boot on. I actually don't think he's going to end up being subbed off, which, for Arsenal, that's a positive. Because most of the good stuff that's happened so far has come through their 21-year-old star man. The ball's played out wide, but Coutinho can't keep it in, and Arsenal will keep possession. Saka back on the field now. That duel between him and Alex Moreno has really been one for the cameras so far this afternoon. Ultimately, at the moment, Alex Moreno's done well to keep up with the highly rated youngster. I say highly rated youngster, but Saka's been doing it for a few years now, and yet he's still only 21. So much potential for the young kid. And the ball is spread out towards him now. He takes it down, and Moreno's on him again. Plays it back to Ben White. Ben White takes it past Coutinho. It falls to Jorginho. Jorginho plays the ball. It may be a bit heavy, but Ben White still puts the ball in, and it's Eddie Nketiah's header. And it clips the crossbar and goes over. It's the closest that Arsenal have come to equalising. And like I said in the first half, Eddie Nketiah is going to need to get a little bit more sight of the ball if Arsenal are going to come back. And that's a brilliant chance. He jumps highest of them all, manages to tower over Konsa. But his header clips the top of the crossbar. And unfortunately for Arsenal fans, flies over the bar instead of underneath it. Matty Cash ultimately caught in the Nketiah and Konsa sandwich. He's on the floor receiving treatment. Jacob Ramsey currently stood on the sideline receiving instructions. It looks like he is going to be the first player brought on for Unai Emery's side. Whether that be for Matty Cash is yet to be known, as we look again at that wonderful ball from Ben White. Obviously, it was his ball that ultimately resulted in Bukayo Saka's equaliser. And Eddie Nketiah, he does everything right there. He times his jump to perfection. He gets a strong head on the ball. Emi Martinez is in no man's land. He cannot do anything about that. But ultimately, the ball hits the crossbar. If it goes just 2 inches below, we'd be looking at an equal scoreline yet again. Mikel Arteta's got to be very pleased with the way that his side have started this second half, though. 12 minutes in, it's still 2-1 to Aston Villa, but the game has been all Arsenal this second half. You got to think if anyone's going to score next, it's going to be the visitors. Matty Cash on his feet. I don't think there's anything too wrong with him, but he's received treatment. He's holding just the top of his back there. But I think he'll be fine as Jacob Ramsey gears to come on. Not yet, though. I think the game will carry on for a little bit. As Emi Martinez waves his defenders forward, ready to take a goal kick. Obviously, Martinez has taken his time with a few of the goal kicks ever since Aston Villa went 2-1 up. He plays this one long. Aiming for Ollie Watkins. He wins the first, but the second is well won in the end. And the ball is played over by Ben White, but Bukayo Saka isn't going to get to it. It'll fall straight to Emi Martinez, and that's not what Arsenal want. Too many balls so far have been too heavy and have just run straight to the Aston Villa goalkeeper. Emi Martinez on the ball. Surveying his options and ends up going long yet again. Ball out right. Zinchenko can't get to it. And Buendia's ball through is a good idea. But again, it's my turn to say that Aston Villa have played a heavy ball, and that one ends up rolling towards Aaron Ramsdale. Arsenal have a chance to build on an attack here with Ben White. It's played out to Bukayo Saka. Takes it inside. But again, Alex Moreno is there. Saka regains possession. Here's Saliba. Zinchenko in that central position, which we all know he likes to occupy. Zinchenko takes it round one, plays it to Xhaka. Xhaka's ball through is well dealt with, though, by Douglas Luiz. And now the Brazilian has a chance to drive with it. Douglas Luiz plays a nice ball through to Ollie Watkins. And Ollie Watkins has Saliba to beat yet again. Saliba does well, takes him out wide. Ollie Watkins here at this near corner flag with the ball still. Not many options for the Englishman, and Saliba does well to rob him of the ball. And now Arsenal have a chance to attack with Martin Odegaard. Spreads it in field. Here's Granit Xhaka. Plays it to Leandro Trossard on his first start for Arsenal. Trossard switches the player yet again to Bukayo Saka. Saka has Odegaard in support. Doesn't use him. Takes it in on his left foot. Strikes it and it's well blocked by Tyrone Mings. Falls out. Zinchenko's ball in is poor. But Ben White will keep it on this near side. Aston Villa fans want a goal kick. It's not going to get given. Ben White now on the ball. In a dangerous position. It's played back to Odegaard. And it's a good tackle from Mings. It only goes as far as Jorginho, but Arsenal are forced back. Here's Odegaard. Jorginho again. Jorginho clips the ball over to Saka. Saka in the box now. Here's Saka. Plays the ball in. And Nketiah, it's a good block by Konsa. Bit of a goal-mouth scramble here. Here's Saka still got the ball, and ultimately the ball's cleared away by Buendia, and Arsenal have a corner as they keep the pressure up. I think Arsenal fans wanted a penalty. I don't think there's anything much in that from Boubacar Kamara. He doesn't foul Bukayo Saka. In the end, it's Buendia's defensive work that means that Arsenal have a corner. They play it short again. Zinchenko has a bit of room on the edge of the box. He strikes it near post! And it's Alexander Zinchenko's first goal for Arsenal. And on the hour mark, there is another twist to this tale. Arsenal are not giving up in this title race. It's been coming ever since the start of the second half. And the Ukrainian left-back, Alexander Zinchenko, has equalised yet again for Arsenal. Aston Villa 2, Arsenal 2. And it's a quick corner that's played. They've played it short quite a few times. And Odegaard just plays it on the edge of the box. And Zinchenko hits it low and hard. It goes through Ollie Watkins' legs. And it creeps in at that near post. Emi Martinez can't do anything about it. And Zinchenko immediately runs back to the halfway line. Because he knows that this game is not done. Arsenal have been the better team, you've got to say, in the start of the second half. As Coutinho is subbed off for Jacob Ramsey. Coutinho, well, before that finish by Zinchenko, was the one who was keeping Aston Villa in the lead. But now, thanks to Alexander Zinchenko, we are level yet again. Aston Villa now building an attack on this right-hand side with Matty Cash. Matty Cash plays the ball across. Ben White deals with it though. Arsenal playing it a little bit dangerously at the back. In the end, it's cleared away by Zinchenko, the goal scorer. And Nketiah goes down and a foul is given. The guilty subject. What a game this has turned out to be, by the way. Just past an hour played. 4 goals scored, 2 apiece for either side. And as much as Aston Villa have done well to take the lead twice, Arsenal have just been there in the rearview mirror, not going away. Here's Odegaard, takes it past Mings, and Nketiah's in. Here's Eddie Nketiah, and it's just over. Every concert does well to send Eddie Nketiah right. And Martinez, he comes out and he makes sure that it's a tough angle. And Nketiah, it's a tough finish to pull off. He does end up lifting it over Martinez, but in the end, he also ends up lifting it over the crossbar. A wonderful ball from Martin Odegaard, an even better run from Eddie Nketiah, and we were close to seeing Arsenal take the lead for the first time this afternoon there. Douglas Luiz, back to Konsa. And you can hear the Arsenal fans now getting behind their side. They can feel the pressure coming on to Aston Villa, and they know that if anyone's probably going to win this game, it may end up being their side. Emi Martinez's ball is too heavy. Matty Cash can't keep it in play. Few changes rearing up for Aston Villa yet again. Leon Bailey and Leander Dendoncker are getting ready to come on. See, Leon Bailey, one of the players that was replaced by Unai Emery after last weekend's 3-1 defeat to Manchester City. Here's Odegaard. Out to Saliba. Saliba with the ball. Plays it across. And here's Zinchenko, the goal scorer. Zinchenko runs with it and plays a nice ball out to Trossard. Trossard with a bit of room on this left-hand side. Trossard whips the ball in. Saka will try and get to it, but it's well headed away by Alex Moreno. Here's Jorginho. Odegaard. Played out wide. Ben White is going to pick this ball up on this near side. Plays it back to Odegaard. He's going to have to work to get it, and he does. Here's the Norwegian captain, Odegaard. Plays it into Saka. Saka. Ben White tries to take it past Boubacar Kamara, but Kamara's had a very solid game so far, and he's done well there to play a ball to Wendia, and he's played a ball through to Watkins. It's a 2-on-2. John McGinn is on the far side. He plays the ball in, but Aaron Ramsdale reads it well, and now it's a chance for Arsenal to mount an attack. Proper end-to-end stuff here ever since Arsenal equalised. Here's Trossard on this left-hand side. Looking to take it past Matty Cash, but he decides to come in. Douglas Luiz does well to help out Matty Cash, though, and Aston Villa regain possession. And again, Emi Martinez, culprit of playing the ball out of play. A lot of pressure being placed on the Aston Villa goalkeeper by the Arsenal players. It's going to be Emi Buendia and Douglas Luiz being replaced by Leander Dendoncker and Leon Bailey. Leon Bailey, the Jamaican, been in and out of form really for Aston Villa. Douglas Luiz on a yellow card, probably a smart choice to withdraw him from the game. Leander Dendoncker, the former Wolves man, comes on in his place. Just a case of showing up the defence a little bit, bringing on Leander Dendoncker, a very defensive-minded midfielder, and then bringing on Leon Bailey. He has that pace to break down defenders. He's going to be one that Arteta's defenders need to look out for as the game ends up winding down to its final act. We have around about a quarter of today's action left. 66 minutes on the clock as Zinchenko plays one out to Trossard. Trossard takes it inside, spreads the play once again to Saka. It's a great ball, and Saka lays it off to Ben White. Ben White's ball is deflected, but Arsenal are going to keep possession with Jorginho. It's Ben White again. White keeps the ball. Has to go back to Saka. And Saka fouled there by Alex Moreno. And that's been a few on Alex Moreno. I think the referee might just be having a bit of a final word with him, maybe. Saka does well to put his body in the way, and ultimately Moreno is going for the ball, but he just runs straight through Saka there. As Arsenal gear up to make their first change, Leandro Trossard's first start for Arsenal comes to an end. He is being replaced by Gabriel Martinelli. A solid game for Leandro Trossard. Ultimately, the game kind of moved away from him as Arsenal started to work down Saka's side a lot towards the back end of the first half and pretty much the whole of this second half. Bringing on Gabriel Martinelli, though, that's dangerous for Arsenal, as Arsenal have a free kick here. Odegaard steps over it, ready to take. Left-in swinger from Odegaard, whips the ball in. It's headed away, only as far as Saka, and his volley's poor. It comes out to Zinchenko, played to Gabriel. Flag stays down. The ball's played wide to Martinelli, and his first action of the game is a cross straight into Martinez's hands. Case for Martinez just to slow the game down a little bit here, take a bit of the momentum from Arsenal's sails. He keeps hold of the ball. We had just over 20 minutes left in this one. It is Aston Villa 2, Arsenal 2 here in this lunchtime kickoff. Commentary brought to you by the Commentary Hub. Martinez's long ball forward headed away by Saliba, but only as far as Ollie Watkins. Here's Watkins with the ball. Plays it to Jacob Ramsey. Aston Villa enjoying really their largest portion of possession this whole second half, really, as the ball goes back to Konsa. Here's Kamara. Dendoncker. Out wide. Here's Leon Bailey. Drives it at Gabriel. Whips the ball in. And if not for Zinchenko's intervention there, Ollie Watkins had gotten the right side of William Saliba. Zinchenko's clearance means that Aston Villa have a corner here in front of the Holt end. What a game this is turning out to be. Strap in for the last 20 minutes because both sides are not wanting to lose this one. John McGinn, Villa's captain, has a chance to whip a ball in here. Left-in swinger from the Scotsman. Dendonker's challenge for the header is well dealt with. And Arsenal have a chance to counter here. Martinelli, he's one-on-one with Matty Cash here. No real support here for the Brazilian. Martinelli's still got the ball. And he's ball through to Nketiah. Nketiah caught flat-footed, really. Martinelli did so well to keep possession there. Such direct, positive football. But ultimately, his ball through, and Nketiah unable to get to it. Martinez will happily gather, and again will take a few seconds off the clock as he puts this ball forward. Well won by Leon Bailey. Ollie Watkins has the ball just inside Arsenal's penalty area here. Back to Leon Bailey. He has Zinchenko on him. Bailey tries to put a ball through, but it's well defended. The Jamaican carries on with possession though, but Zinchenko does well winning the ball back. Here's Xhaka. Spreads the play. Ben White. And now Arsenal. The game's opening up a little bit now for Arsenal. And that's a great one run by Ben White to keep the ball. He plays it to Bukayo Saka. Back to White. White clips the ball in. And it's deflected by Moreno out for a corner. Obviously, Arsenal scored from their last corner. Aston Villa are definitely going to have to switch on and watch out for this short corner here, which they do yet again. Here's Odegaard. Doesn't play out to the edge there. Instead, puts the ball in, and it's well dealt with by the Aston Villa defence. Here's Ben White now, just inside Aston Villa's half. Arsenal keep possession. Zinchenko tries to play a ball through to Saka, but it doesn't work. Now here's Ollie Watkins with Green in front of him, but also with William Saliba in front of him, so he turns back. And now here's Kamara. Bit of space. He has a lot of green in front of him now. Kamara plays it out. John McGinn. Out to Bailey. Bailey now tries to take it past Gabriel. Matty Cash now plays a poor ball. And now Zinchenko yet again has a chance to start an attack. Odegaard. Saka. Bukayo Saka. One-on-one with Alex Moreno. He comes inside. Plays it into Odegaard. Odegaard clips one over back to Saka. Saka does well to keep the ball, but it's ultimately going to be a goal kick. The linesman decides that Saka was unable to keep it in. Saka thinks that he managed to play the ball off of Moreno in time. Not too sure, says the referee. It's going to end up being an Aston Villa goal kick. 72 minutes played. We got just over 18 minutes left here in today's 12:30 kickoff, as Aston Villa are currently drawing with Arsenal 2-2 in a game that Aston Villa have led twice in, lest we forget. And Nketiah lays the ball off to Odegaard, who plays a good ball out to Saka. But the flag ultimately is up. Did look a bit offside. A good defensive line in the end from Aston Villa. And Saka ultimately has the play stopped before he can make any impact. Obviously, Arsenal still only making one substitution so far. That saw Martinelli come on for Leandro Trossard. Emile Smith-Rowe is still on the bench. He hasn't started a Premier League game yet this season. Obviously, he is still on his road to recovery from the big injury that's kept him out for the majority of this season. As we head towards the back end of this game, Aston Villa have a bit of possession in Arsenal's half here. Kamara plays one off to Jacob Ramsey. Jacob Ramsey takes it on his right. Plays it back to Kamara. Kamara to Dendonker. Tyrone Mings. Jacob Ramsey with a bit of pocket of space. It's good football for Aston Villa, this. Just trying to be a bit patient with it. Matty Cash does well to take Martinelli out of the game. Plays it off to Leon Bailey. Here's Bailey. Plays the ball across on the floor, but it's a bit too in front of Jacob Ramsey, and it's well dealt with. He'll get the ball back, though, will Leon Bailey. Here's Bailey. Good feet to get past Odegaard. He clips the ball in towards the far post, but Zinchenko, calm and composed, heads it back to Aaron Ramsdale. With just over 15 minutes left in this game, make sure you're checking out all the other games that are being covered by the Commentary Hub later on today, including the half-5 game between Newcastle and Liverpool live at St James's Park. Big game for Newcastle, obviously at the top of the table. They've been drawing too much. They need to get back in the win column. John McGinn here. John McGinn strikes, and it's straight at Ramsdale. It was a good run from McGinn. Took it past Xhaka. Ultimately, his shot's pretty tame, though. It's straight down Ramsdale's throat, and he'll easily catch that one. Again, like I was saying, Newcastle, Liverpool. Liverpool, the only side in the league to defeat Newcastle yet this season. That came at Anfield, and obviously a rejuvenated Liverpool, you got to think, after the Merseyside derby victory on Monday. So make sure you're tuning into that as a ball is played over the top to Martinelli here. And Matty Cash makes a great last-ditch challenge. It'll be a corner, though, for Arsenal. It was a challenge that needed to be made, though, because Martinelli was bearing down on goal. Matty Cash has done well coming back into the side. Obviously, it is his first start in 5 games in the league. Will Arsenal go short again? Yes, they will. Here's Odegaard. Odegaard clips it out to Saka, who's got a bit of room, but he mistimes his volley. And it's ended up being hacked away. And Saka, well, Ramsdale will come and collect this one. Just inside his own half. He plays the ball over the top. And ultimately, that one is way too heavy, and Emi Martinez will gladly catch that one out of the air. Just under 15 minutes played in this one. Just under 15 minutes to play in this one, sorry. It is Aston Villa 2, Arsenal 2. In what has been a very entertaining game here at Villa Park. Oh, and it's given away by Konsa, and Odegaard's in, and he's put it wide! Ezri Konsa, the most relieved man in Villa Park. Eddie Nketiah robbed him blind. And he played the ball across. And Martin Odegaard has 3/4 of the goal to aim at. And he just drags it wide. And you've got to think he's got to be scoring that. Eddie Nketiah does so well to win the ball off of Ezri Konsa, who's had such a good game up until this point. Mikel Arteta can't believe it. Arsenal fans can't believe it. Eddie Nketiah can't believe it. But most importantly, neither can Martin Odegaard. A big let-off for Ezri Konsa and Aston Villa. It remains 2-2 as Aston Villa are going to make their final 2 changes of the game. Alex Moreno substituted off for Luca Dean, and the goal scorer, Ollie Watkins, taken off for John Duran, making only his 3rd Premier League appearance for Aston Villa after signing from Chicago Fire in January. The ball's played forward and Duran just can't get to it. And Nketiah flicks the ball on, but Xhaka can't get to it. Martinez plays the ball forward. Again, a chance for Villa to win the first ball, and they don't do it. Oh, but the ball's loose. And it's good press from Duran. Obviously coming on, he has a lot of energy. And Aston Villa have a decent throw-in a decent bit of position here. As Arsenal get ready to make a couple of changes of their own. Takahiro Tomiyasu is getting ready to come on for Ben White. And Granit Xhaka is being replaced by the Portuguese man Fabio Vieira. Just a way of shoring things up, really. Obviously, Arsenal, whilst they may want to win this game, Aston Villa have played very well, and obviously they don't want to lose it, definitely. Tomiyasu obviously broke into the starting lineup on Wednesday. It was his poor back pass back that led to De Bruyne's first goal. McGinn has the ball here, plays it out. Here's Leon Bailey, does well to try and take it past Gabriel, but Gabriel reads it perfectly, and that is a perfect challenge in the box. Got to think that if Gabriel mistimes that, then that is a definite penalty. But he does so well just to stick his left foot out and stop Bailey from coming through. Here's Tomiyasu on this right-hand side. Leaves it for Saka. Jorginho plays the ball wide. Martinelli on the ball now. He drives on Xhaka, but drives and plays it back to Xhaka. Jorginho now plays a square ball to Tomiyasu. Tomiyasu. Here's Saka again. Saka takes it inside. Ultimately plays it out to Odegaard, who really should have put the side 3-2 up. He plays it back to Saka. Saka whips the ball in. And Martinelli ain't there to Martinelli's volley ultimately cancelled out. Here's Jorginho. Plays out wide to Tomiyasu. Tomiyasu. Here's Saka. Obviously, Alex Moreno did a very good job at keeping Saka at bay. We'll see how Luka Dean does in the last 5 minutes. It's played. Tomiyasu, a bit of space, but his cross is well blocked by Tyrone Mings. Tomiyasu had a lot of space, and there came Tyrone Mings racing over to block the cross. No one tracked Tomiyasu's run, but Mings did well to make up for it. Jorginho handball means that Aston Villa get a little bit of respite. Chance to have a bit of possession in their own half. Tyrone Mings ready to take the free kick. If you've just joined us, we've got around about 9 minutes to go to the 90. The score's at a stalemate. Aston Villa 2, Arsenal 2. Aston Villa led twice. Once through Ollie Watkins and then twice through Felipe Coutinho. And Arsenal have a free kick now on this far side. It's played short to Jorginho, who plays it back to Gabriel. Arsenal have had the better chances, you got to think, this second half. And Nketiah's hit the bar, and Odegaard has put an open goal pretty much wide. And that back heel, not good enough. And Ramsey has a chance to attack. Here's Thuram. Kamara spreads the play. Can Bailey get to it? Yes, he can. And he has a chance to run. Chance to put the afterburners on for the Jamaican. Leon Bailey strikes the post and he's deflected onto the bar. What a save by Aaron Ramsdale. An absolutely perfect hit from Leon Bailey and a great save from Aaron Ramsdale. And now Arsenal have a chance to attack too. Here's Bukayo Saka. He takes it inside. And that's a foul by Boubacar Kamara. Just outside the edge of the area. Aston Villa unlucky to not be ahead for the third time today. It's a great touch to bring it down from Leon Bailey. And once he starts running, no one's going to catch him. And he takes it on his weak foot. And what a hit it is on his right peg. Aaron Ramsdale just gets fingertips to it, but fingertips is all it takes to flick it onto the crossbar. Aston Villa hard done by, you got to think, not to take the lead for a third time this afternoon. And you got to think if any side takes the lead with 8 minutes left, they could run away with the 3 points. In the end, Odegaard has a free kick just outside the area. He sticks his hand up, signals. Needs to be a good ball. Konsa and Mings have been good in the air today. It is a good ball, and the header by Gabriel has too much on it, and it flies over the bar. I mean, he manages to get away from his man, but ultimately he ends up facing away from the goal when he heads it. It's a really tough header to really make, even if it is a free one. It is a chance for Arsenal, though. And it'll result in yet another goal kick for Arsenal that Emi Martinez is going to hold on to. And this time, Simon Hooper will produce the yellow card to the Argentinian goalkeeper. It's his fourth booking this season for Emi Martinez. I'm assuming that the prior three were done in a similar vein to what this one has been done for. He finally takes the goal kick. It's flicked on by Thuram. And he manages to keep the ball, but in doing so, handles it. And Arsenal have a chance to build an attack of their own. Zinchenko plays it short to Tomiyasu. Here's Tomiyasu. Still Tomiyasu. Plays a square ball, switches the play to Gabriel. Gabriel plays it to Saliba. Saliba back to Tomiyasu. Arsenal enjoying most of the possession this second half. Here's Odegaard. Tries to play a ball through and he does. And Nketiah with the ball here in a dangerous position and forces the corner off of Edry Konsa. Arsenal again putting the pressure on Aston Villa here. Just over 5 minutes left of the 90 and Bukayo Saka has a chance to put the ball in the box. Arsenal scored from a corner, remember, to equalise through Alexander Zinchenko. So now Bukayo Saka has a chance to maybe make it 2 corners that have resulted in goals for Arsenal today. The ball's whipped in with the left foot towards Gabriel, but it's headed away. Here's Leon Bailey now. And Nketiah gets in front of him. Bailey has to turn back. And Nketiah does really well to press him. And Bailey, he's gonna have to fancily flick that one out of play, but ultimately doesn't make much ground. Arsenal have a throw in a dangerous position. Zinchenko to take. Vieira plays it back to Saliba. Saliba now. Jorginho. Tomiyasu. Bit of room for Tomiyasu to play the ball out to Martin Odegaard. Odegaard. Tomiyasu runs round him, but Odegaard chooses not to use him. Drops it off to Jorginho. He plays the ball through to Saka, and Saka's in on his right foot, but his strike is straight at Martinez, who will be grateful to clutch that one to his chest. It was never really too much of a clear-cut opportunity for Saka, but that is what Jorginho can do. It's a great ball through, splitting the defence, but Villa do well to react and put Saka under a lot of pressure. It's a tough angle to score from too. Good effort from Bukayo Saka, but the score still remains 2-2. Emi Martinez plays this one forward. One in the air by Zinchenko, but it ricochets off of Leon Bailey. And John Duran ultimately gives away the foul on Gabriel. Free kick taken short. You got to think if Arsenal don't come away from Villa Park with all 3 points here, it's a bit of a disappointment despite them being down twice in the game. It'll open the door wide open for Manchester City to take a 2-point gap. Obviously, they head to the City ground to face Nottingham Forest at 3 p.m. A game that you potentially would signal Manchester City to win, but Nottingham Forest have done really well so far in the new year, and at the City ground, it's becoming a little bit of a fortress for them. As it stands with the draw, though, Arsenal currently 1 point above Manchester City, and after this game, they will have played the same amount of games. Here's Tomiyasu. Jorginho. Jorginho to Odegaard. Odegaard plays the ball through to Saka. But Tyrone Mings is across to clear the ball out for a throw-in. In the dynamos of the game now. Odegaard, it's a good ball in! But Martinez does well to come and claim. He looks to be in a little bit of pain, does Emi Martinez? He might have caught someone on the way down. Yeah, I think he caught a mixture of Matty Cash and Gabriel Martinelli there on the way down. And that'll give Martinez a perfect opportunity to really stay on the floor. Mikel Arteta shakes his head. It was a decent ball from Martin Odegaard. Martinelli had found himself in a lot of room at the back post, but Emi Martinez did well to come and claim. Arteta very animated on the subs bench. Arsenal fans looking a little bit demotivated as Emi Martinez again takes his time clearing this ball up the field. It's cleared forward. Only as far as Saliba, though. Kept in by Martinelli. And Nketiah presses well, but Konsa manages to keep the ball this time. Martinez, again, with a long ball forward. Gabriel is the first to it. And that's a foul. Arsenal, again, quick to take the free kick. They want to keep it going. The ball's played to Odegaard. But Simon Hooper pulls the ball back and says that it was moving. Mikel Arteta not happy with the decision. taking the mickey out the referee a little bit there. But Arsenal will carry on with the attack now. Tomiyasu as we head into the final 30 seconds of the 90. Here's Jorginho. Tomiyasu. It's a bit of a rushed ball, but Odegaard's still going to get it. Odegaard plays it to Gabriel. Gabriel to Jorginho. Jorginho now. A bit of room to drive, does the Italian. We all know how good he is at picking out a ball, as we have confirmation of 6 minutes added on at the end of this 90 minutes. Jorginho. Zinchenko plays a crossfield ball to Gabriel. Gabriel plays it into Fabio Vieira. Zinchenko. Vieira now again. Clips the ball forward. Martinelli's going to get to it if he's onside. Flag stays down. The ball ends up going out, and Arsenal have a corner. John McGinn wants an offside call. He's not going to get it. Arsenal have a corner in stoppage time at the end of the 90 here. And they go short yet again. Odegaard plays it short to Martinelli this time. Here's Zinchenko. Zinchenko now with the ball. Back to Odegaard. Odegaard now plays it to Martinelli. Martinelli looks to get it round his man. And it ends up being a good challenge from Jacob Ramsey. And he runs away from Martinelli too. Plays one down the line. Leon Bailey. And now Aston Villa have a 2-on-1 situation. Can Aston Villa nick one here? It's Duran! And it's saved by Aaron Ramsdale. Falls out to Bailey, but Saliba does well and clears it away. What a time that would have been to get your first goal for the club. John Duran drove the ball up the field. They had a 2-on-1. Duran stayed with it though. Took it in on his left foot. And the strike, it's a good height for Ramsdale. He should have saved it and he did. They still have the ball here though, to Aston Villa. But it's cleared out to Bukayo Saka. Saka now. Plays one down the line if Nketiah can get to it. But it's a little bit short and Tyrone Mings ends up with the ball. We've got around about 4 minutes left of stoppage time. Konza now. Ball out to Matty Cash. Cash into Kamara. Kamara plays the ball over, but I think all of the Aston Villa players were offside there. Zinchenko will end up mopping up and play it back to Ramsdale. Ramsdale play it into Jorginho. Jorginho plays the ball into Odegaard. Odegaard to Saka now. Saka on this right-hand side. Looks to take it past Digne, but Digne stands strong. Saka still has the ball though. Saka to Odegaard. Here's Odegaard. Zinchenko. Martinelli. Martinelli takes it on his right foot. Cuts it back. And it's Jorginho! Oh, it's in the end! What a hit that was from Jorginho! It crashes off of the crossbar, and it's so unlucky for Emi Martinez. It hits him on the way back and crosses the line. Could you believe what we've seen at Villa Park? This is unbelievable stuff. This is what champions do, though. They need a little bit of luck, and Arsenal have got it. After being a little bit unlucky throughout the whole of the game, throughout the whole of the last week or so, they've found their luck, and they are 3-2 up here at Villa Park. Unai Emery looks on in dismay. His Villa side were up twice today, but in the end, it might be Arsenal who nick all 3 points. What a hit it was from Jorginho, but it crashes off of the crossbar and hits Emi Martinez on the way down before crossing the line. How unfortunate for Emi Martinez and Aston Villa, who've defended so well today. It's come off his head and gone into the goal. They've defended so well. You could say they deserved the point. But in the end, Arsenal won't care. They're going to head back to London with all 3 by the looks of things. Unless there is another twist in this absolutely miraculous tale here at this lunchtime kickoff at Villa Park. This is quite remarkable. Unbelievable scenes at Villa Park. And Aston Villa, they now have to go for it. They've got around about 2 minutes to salvage a point now. Substitution being made here for Arsenal as Kieran Tierney is ready to come on for the final few minutes in replace of Alexander Zinchenko, whose equalising goal really set up the back end of today's game. And Rob Holding is going to come on and take the captain's armband in replace for Martin Odegaard. What a conclusion to the game here at Villa Park. What a game this is turning out to be. We've got around about a minute left of the 6 added on. Aston Villa, they need to provide something if they're going to leave with a point. They'll feel a bit hard done by that they haven't managed to hold on to the 2 leads that they managed to take all throughout the 90 minutes today. But Arsenal have already been there. They've kept putting the pressure on. They've been knocking on the door, and their pressure has paid off. They lead by 3-2 here at Villa Park. It's a perfect strike from Jorginho, and ultimately he is going to go down as an Emi Martinez own goal. But you can't take anything away from the Italian strike. He's had such a good game as Jorginho as well. The ball's cleared forward towards Nketiah, but Martinez will end up claiming the ball. I doubt he's going to take as long distributing the ball as he has done throughout the night. He's gonna hoof this one forward. A chance to win the ball in the air, but it's only going to fall as far as Tomiyasu, who wins the header unchallenged. And Nketiah can't do anything about it. He's in an offside position. Tyrone Mings will end up picking the ball up. Mings plays a square ball to Konza. We have played the 6 minutes of added time, but obviously with the celebrations, I won't be surprised if a little bit more is played. The ball played over by Kamara. It's well taken down by Bailey, but well dealt with by Kieran Tierney. Konza out wide to Bailey. Bailey has a chance to put the ball in, but doesn't take it. Tierney on him, but Bailey tries to work away from him. He does. He gets the ball in. It's won by Konza. It's flicked on by Dendoncker and then headed away. Villa are still going to keep the ball and they'll have a corner. You got to think this is going to be the final chance for Aston Villa to salvage a point. We are 50 seconds past the 6 added minutes, and Aston Villa have a corner in front of the Holt end with a chance to make it 3-3. Emi Martinez is joining the attack. You got to think if this ends up breaking away, the referee is going to call for full time. It's Luca Digne on the corner. An in-swinger with the left foot. On this near side, the Frenchman gets ready to whip the ball in. Digne whips the ball in towards the far post. It's headed away, and now Arsenal, the goal's free, and they have a 2-on-2. It's played forward, and here's Martinelli, and he'll tap into an empty goal. It's 4-2 to Arsenal. They have the 3 points. And Gabriel Martinelli gets his goal off the bench. He's back in goal-scoring form. And elation on the Arsenal bench. They trailed twice so far today. But ultimately, they will run out 4-2 victors here at Villa Park. They will head back to the top of the league. And barring and if Manchester City fail to pick up points later today at the City Ground, they will be staying there. Luca Digne's ball to the back post. Ultimately well dealt with by Arsenal. Simon Hooper doesn't blow for full time. And Arsenal end up having a 2-on-2. It's a great ball through there. And Martinelli has nobody between him and the goal. And when I say nobody, I mean literally nobody. He celebrates before putting the ball in. Aston Villa 2. Arsenal 4. Arsenal are heading back to the top of the table here on this lunchtime game. And what a game it has been here at Villa Park. Smiles all around from Mikel Arteta. He knows how important this victory is. Because Aston Villa, they've been no slouches. They've been up for it. They've defended so well. And they'll feel unlucky that they haven't managed to take at least a point in this one. Unai Emery loses to Arsenal for the first time in his managerial career. Arsenal end their 3-game unbeaten run. Goals from, I'll try to remember because 6 were scored. Ollie Watkins opened the scoring after around about 6 minutes for Arsenal. Bukayo Saka levelled things up about 10 minutes later. Past the half-hour mark, Felipe Coutinho's first goal of the season. made it 2-1, which brought Aston Villa into a lead at the break. That was eradicated about 15 minutes into the second half through an Alexander Zinchenko wonderful strike. And then it looked for all the world like this one was going to end 2-2. But for an absolutely wonderful strike from Jorginho that cannoned off the crossbar, deflected off of Emi Martinez and unfortunately into the back of the net. And then as Aston Villa pushed on for a point, Gabriel Martinelli broke away and made sure that all 3 points were going back to the Emirates. Thank you guys for listening to this commentary here on the Commentary Hub. Final score here at Villa Park, Aston Villa 2, Arsenal 4.